So Reddy Mane is your Mane?
Yes, sir. My son.
Okay.
Gautham and Christine.
I'm a DJ by profession.
A DJ?
Yes.
Okay.
And my wife is a pastry chef. And during the pandemic, all the clubs were shut and all the restaurants were kind of shut.
Okay.
So we didn't know what to do. So we put up a post saying that we're cooking biryani.
Then chicken biryani?
Chicken biryani.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇನು? Mutton biryani. Those mutton biryani. Ladies
Yes.
Ladies team?
Yes.
Fantastic.
They are the reason why our kitchen is so clean and neat.
Businesses like these are born out of great difficulty, are born out of certain circumstances. And it's always nice to understand and appreciate what went into the setting up of this place. I love the manner in which that keema clumps together. An indication that there's plenty of good mutton fat too that is holding that keema together. On the whole, the dishes are the sort that you would taste in someone's home. I've tasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dishes and I'm not feeling heavy in the least. Hi folks, this is Kripalamana. Hope you're doing well. This morning we've arrived at Vidyaranyapura past Sahakar Nagar in North Bengaluru. What brings us here? Well, biryani. More specifically, a tiny family eatery called Reddy Mane Biryani that some of our viewers have alerted us to. And also we've received some requests from the family too behind this enterprise. So this morning, rather this afternoon, it's about 12:30 in the afternoon, we've decided to drop in to Reddy Mane Biryani totally unannounced. So let's go in and find out what the biryani here is all about. Well, there seems to be a fair bit of food on the poster here at Reddy Mane Biryani. And the tagline says Nati style Uta, and that's a sort of food that it seems to be. This is also part of our initiative to support small enterprises. And what I like to do is drop in at these places unannounced, so you get a real sense of what the place is all about. So when you visit here as a customer after watching the video, well, this is precisely what you will experience. The space looks nice and airy. Namaskara. Biryani there?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic, I can smell the aroma of some biryani. What's your name, sir?
Ramchandra Reddy.
Mr. Ramchandra Reddy.
Yes, sir.
So who began this?
My son Gautham.
Gautham?
Yes.
He began this?
Yes.
Fantastic. So Reddy Mane is your Mane?
Yes, sir.
So we've arrived at Mr. Ramchandra Reddy's house.
And people's also. People's house. Mane also.
So you and your son run it?
Yes, sir. My son.
Okay.
Gautham and Christine.
Christine. Who's Christine?
Christine is my daughter-in-law.
Your daughter-in-law?
Yes.
So your son and your daughter-in-law run this place?
Yes, sir.
So they're on their way here?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. I can already spot some mutton saru there, mutton kaima fry, chicken kebab. Today's special.
Yes.
The sort of things that one wants to try here. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗೆ ಪರಿಮಳ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ಘಮ ಪರಿಮಳ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೋಡ್ಬೋದಾ? Let's go into the kitchen and take a look at what is cooking or has cooked already at Reddy Mane Biryani. Traditional Nati style ಊಟ.
Yes.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೇಡೀಸಾ? Ladies team?
Yes.
Fantastic. So all of you do the cooking?
No. Only Gautham and Christine.
So you help?
Yes.
Very nice. So ಎಲ್ಲ ಕುಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತಿದು? ಏನಿದೆ? Can we see Mr. Reddy? ರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಗಾರು ಬನ್ನಿ ತೋರಿಸಿ ನಮಗೆ. ಇದೇನು ಚಿಕನ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ? ಏನೋ ಬ್ರಾಯ್ಲರ್ ಚಿಕನಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರೇನು? ಮಲ್ಲಿಗಾ. ಮಲ್ಲಿಗಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ಲವರ್. ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಚಿಕನ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇನು? ಮಟನ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ. ತೋರಿಸಿ ಮಟನ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ. ಇದೇನು ಶೀಪಾ? ಕುರಿಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
Well, the biryanis look very homely. Mane tara ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Homely food, sir.
Homely food.
Yes, sir. Chicken saru ಇದೆ.
ಕೋಳಿ ಸಾರು.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ಇದು ಯಾರು ಮಾಡೋದು ನಿಮ್ದು?
ಮಗ, yes sir.
So they cook here?
Yes, sir.
What time do they cook?
Morning by 7:30
They cook?
start.
And then
9:30, 10 o'clock they will
finish?
Yes. Always they will be here only.
Here only?
Up to 4 o'clock they will be here.
Okay, so now they are on their way here.
Yes.
So they cooked and they went out.
Yes, sir.
We are waiting for the son and the daughter-in-law to also come. Your son's name is
Gautham.
Gautham Reddy and Christine, his wife. Fantastic. That looks very good. Adein sir?
Rasam.
Rasam. Biryani ಟಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
I can smell the aromats. ಇದು ಶೇರ್ವಾ. ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿಗೆ ಶೇರ್ವಾ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
So ಅಲ್ಲಿ quantity, small quantity
Yes, sir.
cooking.
Only fifth. This is the 5th month.
5th month running.
Yes.
ಹೇಗೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್?
ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ.
Homely food.
Homely food.
Yes, yes.
Well, the food that I've seen there, the biryanis and that koli saru looks very good. I'm eager, I'm impatient to get to the biryanis, but I think I'll wait for a few minutes because I think the son and the daughter-in-law are on their way. So this is sometimes a challenge when you drop into a place unannounced. I can very easily order for the biryani, order for the dishes and savor it. But it's always nice to speak to the people behind it, especially of tiny enterprises like these. Because I think businesses like these are born out of great difficulty, are born out of certain circumstances. And it's always nice to understand and appreciate what went into the setting up of this place. So I think we'll give them a few more minutes before we call for the food. Hi.
So nice to see you.
Nice to be here. Hi. Christine. So you. Nice to meet you, Gautam. So tell me about this place.
I'm a DJ by profession.
A DJ.
Yes.
Okay.
And my wife is the pastry chef.
Correct.
So out for the love of food, we opened a cafe a couple of years back in Kamnali, which didn't click.
What was it called?
It was called the Juice Shop, Juicery and Kitchen.
Okay.
But then we had to shut that down for various reasons. And during the pandemic, all the clubs were shut and all the restaurants were kind of shut.
Okay.
So we didn't know what to do. So we put up a post saying that we're cooking biryani
Okay.
on a Sunday. So we started with taking pre-orders.
Oh.
So in the next following 3 months, that 20 orders became like about 100 orders. And we couldn't handle it from home. So then we opened a cloud kitchen in Sakar Nagar.
Okay.
But 6 months back, we moved here because it's my dad's property and this floor got empty.
Okay.
So we thought we'll move here and start fresh with a different name. We were called the Nati Crew Kitchen.
The Nati?
The Nati Crew Kitchen
Okay.
for like 2 years.
Okay.
So basically we started with pre-orders, then we started serving people as well. I mean, like the walk-ins as well.
So you've been open here for what, 6 months?
Yeah, it's been 6 months
And
since
how's
we
it doing?
Picking up since we're on the second floor.
Okay.
It's just that it's word of mouth marketing. People who love the food are just like introducing their family and friends to us.
Fantastic.
So it's like picking up slowly eventually.
Lovely.
Momentum is slow, but it's moving.
Yeah. So I've seen the biryanis, of course, and I've seen the koli saru.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
else do you have?
So we started with just 2 biryanis and 2 fries to begin with.
Okay.
But as we are going on, like, you know, we have regulars who come here like 3-4 times in a week. So they started asking us for like ragi ball or chapati. So then we had to introduce like some curries which goes with the ragi ball or the chapati.
Okay. And I'm told you do the cooking. You guys do the cooking.
Yes. For me, food is like about an experience. I want to keep the kitchen as hygienic as possible because I believe in this is one thing what we consciously put inside us. We try to keep it as fresh and as homely as possible and as hygienically as cooked.
That's something that I can definitely see, even in terms of the airiness of the space and also the happy faces that I met here.
They are the reason why our kitchen is so clean and neat.
So you have an all-women team.
Yes.
So
Yes.
is that a decision that you took?
Yeah, we both did it together actually.
Okay.
We always felt like women just are innately very particular about things and they are very regular in work and the way they do work is
because we are so particular about our cooking and our dishes as well. We don't compromise. So we thought like, why don't we get women and train them, and make sure that everything's on the point.
Yeah.
And we tell them something's not right, just don't serve it, just throw it or whatever it is. I don't mind wasting food or whatever, but everything has to go out the way it has to go, even after like 10 years from now. We know only a few places, handful of places to go out and enjoy food where we are sure that everything's going to be good. So we thought, why don't we build that bridge by making home food? So some of the recipes are my mother, and so I started cooking my mom's and grandmother's recipes, but I eventually started coming up with my own recipes, the way, with the flavors I wanted to enjoy and stuff like this. So this is our mutton biryani. It starts off from the meat what I pick as well. It's like a 7 to 8 kilo a lamb, and the cut what I use, and the flavors what we put in, and we make 2 different chicken and a mutton biryani, and both have different flavors.
So this is more like a green masala,
This is more like a green masala, but whereas in our chicken biryani, there's a little bit of a reddish color to it.
So this is more like the red chili.
No, we use green chili for both, but for this we use, for the mutton biryani, we use coriander leaves for grinding and mint leaves for frying. But whereas for the chicken, we use both coriander and mint for frying, and we don't grind it.
But how do you get the red color?
It's about how they fry the onions. They fry the onions a little longer than the mutton biryani.
Okay. So you're trying to impart more flavor.
Yes.
Because meat has more flavor by itself, mutton.
Yes, so we keep this masala a little lower because we want the mutton flavor to play a bigger role there. Whereas in the chicken, as it is a bland meat, we give it more flavoring. Flavoring in the sense with the dry spice mix.
So this is your chicken biryani.
Yes, sir. That's
masala.
our chicken masala.
You can definitely smell the sweetness of some of those.
Yes.
There's definitely, I think coriander seeds are the backbone of this particular masala.
Yeah.
And then of course the aromatic spices, whether it's a cinnamon. Do you also have some marat mogu that goes into it?
Yes, sir. We do have marat mogu, and we have some nutmeg as well. Yeah, that gives you that last hint of that.
Yeah, it gives you that sweet lilt in its aroma.
Yeah.
And the nutmeg is an unusual spice.
I know,
Most nati biryanis don't have
Don't
it.
use nutmeg.
So these are what, your mom's recipes?
No, I started with my mom's recipes, and whatever we're doing right now is all ours for the.
I love the sweet lilt of that nutmeg. That gentle aroma. So this is your mutton biryani masala.
Yes,
so
sir.
Who grinds the masalas?
We were doing it ourselves, but then as the quantity is increasing, now we take it to a flour mill where they mill it for us.
But you roast it?
We roast it, we dry roast
So the proportions are yours?
Yes. It's like that is known only by me and my wife.
So in this, the aromatic spices are not as effusive.
Yeah, we've tried to keep it as mellow as possible because mutton itself is a beautiful flavor. So we wanted the mutton to play a bigger role in the biryani than the masalas.
So in this, it's more of the coriander, the cumin.
Yes, and we've added little kasturi methi for this. But we don't have kasturi methi for the chicken one.
So therefore, when I look at the spice mix, so here I've got that beautiful aromatic lilt of the sweet spices, of the hard spices, whereas here it's more of the garam masala in terms of the coriander, the jeerige, and like you said, the kasuri methi.
Yeah. Pepper, sure. Yeah. And for the chicken we use cardamom, but for the mutton we don't use cardamom. So there are a couple of spices what we use only for mutton or chicken. So that both the biryanis have different flavors in itself. Yeah. this is our mutton kaima vade.
Okay.
It's like a dry vade, but it's juicy again in the center.
So what goes into it?
So there is lamb mincemeat, and there is coriander, there's mint, there's curry leaves, there's onions.
And what's that? Garlic, ginger?
We have ginger garlic paste, we have onions, and then we have all the dry spice
So what are these, the onions?
They're the onions or the fat from the mincemeat.
Is this your recipe?
When we had a cafe, we were making lamb burger. A lot of our old customers started missing the lamb burger, so we wanted to incorporate the lamb mince into something South Indian and nati food. And then we came out with this. So I'll give you a mutton biryani.
Mutton biryani, and I would also like to try the chicken biryani.
For sure, yeah. Mutton kaima vade. So would you want to start with one chapati and a little bit of mutton kaima fry and then go for the biryani? Because we serve half biryanis as well.
Oh, you serve half biryanis
Yes,
too?
yes, so we do.
And what about, do you have the mutton saru?
Yes, we do have mutton saru.
What about your chili chicken?
Mostly dry, it goes really good with the biryani.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mutton fry or mutton kaima fry?
Kaima fry is like a gojju?
It's little more dry on the drier side.
Okay, so what will go well with the chapati?
Chapati, I mean kaima fry goes really good with. We have mutton liver, mutton kaima vade, mutton liver fry, mutton fry and mutton kaima fry.
You like your mutton here. They certainly seem to like their mutton here. I mean, there's no points for guessing that. And something for the chicken lovers too, no?
Yes, sir. We have something called karivepaku chicken, which is a semi-gravy, and it's the base is curry leaves. So what we do is we dry roast the curry leaf with all the spices, and we powder it so that you don't get curry leaf. And it's just like a thick gravy. It goes really good with chapati or ragi bowl.
Let's do that.
We have something called chicken pakoda, which is boneless, like kebab, but it's more flavorful.
Well, looks like Gautham is ensuring that I taste everything that he has on offer. Okay, let's try it.
All right, sir.
Let's try it. You know me, never want to say no to food. Thank you. We'll make a beginning with that.
Yes, sir. I'll get it.
Mutton fry.
Mutton kaima fry. This is mutton kaima.
Well, there's plenty of food here on the table. And this is only part one of our meal here, of our uta here at Reddy Manne Biryani. We've got some chapati here, some salad, and what do we have here? So we've got the chicken pakoda. Gautham said this is one of their popular items here, a chicken, boneless chicken pakoda. I think it's been deep fried with some spices, some marinades. Staying with the chicken, we also have the karivepaku chicken, the chicken that's cooked in a curry leaf sort of a gravy, in a curry leaf masala. And then we've got the mutton. We have the mutton, the keema fry. Also what's probably traditionally, locally known as the gojju, but this is a little more drier than a gojju. And then we have the mutton kaima vade. This I'm told is they take on the masal vade. In Karnataka we love a masal vade, and if you love your mutton, well, why not the mutton masal vade too. And then we also have the mutton fry. So 3 or 4 pieces of meat here on the bone with a thick gashi of sorts. I think when you have mutton and chicken on the table, you begin always with the chicken. And so we're going to make a beginning with that chicken pakoda. Fantastic. So this chicken has a thick sort of a batter around it. The bird is juicy, rather moist inside. It's got a thick, spiced sort of a casing around it. The base for this is the roasted gram flour, which has been fortified with plenty of green chili that I can taste there. And if you want to cut the spice of the green chili, perhaps a drizzle of the lime. You know, sometimes when you're tasting a chicken pakoda, barring the initial flavor hit that you get from the batter, you're pretty much tasting the flavor of the chicken, which unfortunately isn't too much. But out here, I think the batter, the flavor of the batter plays an important role in conveying to your palate that spicy flavor. You can taste a bit of that kadle hit too. But then it's, I think some of the green masalas that have gone in that takes over completely. The pakoda is nice and moist. Sometimes when you're tasting a chicken kebab, it can tend to be a bit dry. So you will taste a bit of that masala and the moistness on the outside. But on the inside, it can be dry. But this chicken pakoda is rather moist on the inside. And what I really like here is a jugalbandi between the texture and the mild-mannered flavors of the chicken and the feisty flavor of that masala that it is soaked in before being deep fried. I'm sure there's a bit of turmeric too that goes into that masala, into that spice mix there. I think this is a sort of meal where I'm going to probably be sweating at the back of my head. Mutton keema vada. Plenty of greens that have gone into fortify this mutton keema vada. It's got a bit of a salty edge, but I can taste the flavor of some of the greens, perhaps some curry leaf that's gone into that. When you're making a keema vada like this, there's also a gram flour that goes in to bind it. And sometimes you're tasting more of the gram flour. In that chicken, I could definitely taste the character of the gram flour. But out here, I'm tasting more the flavor and the texture of the mutton, fortified with some of the spices. There's definitely a lot of green chili that goes into the preparations here. Both the preparations that I've tasted thus far have that green chili punch, which is also where the onion comes in. The onion is a great palate cleanser. Bite into something spicy, go for a bit of the onion. Immediately cleanses your palate. Of course, on the flip side, it leaves you with its pungent flavors. After the two dry appetizers, let's work our way towards the mutton kaima fry. There's some peas in that. I think these are the fresh peas that go into it. Some coriander that I can spot in there. And this also seems to have a bit of the stickiness that fat typically conveys. You know, typically when it comes to mutton or kaima gojju, there has to be some peas in that. Because I think peas also help break through some of the flavors of the meat. If you're tasting the flavor of the meat, there's the fat and the herbs that have gone into it. I can definitely taste plenty of the fenugreek in this. Every once in a while, you bite into the creamy pop of the mutter, of the peas. Go for some of that keema with the chapati. There is a bit of a salty edge to the keema, and that's also where the chapati comes into play. I think it also helps cut a bit of the saltiness, cut a bit of that chili heat. That's what the chapati does. There's also a bit of the stickiness that I can taste from the fat in the meat. And when it comes to savoring mutton, well, you need the fat. You need the fat to convey the flavors of the meat. Next, time to go for that karivepaku chicken. I was expecting a big flavor jolt from the curry leaf, but that's not it. So you taste the curry leaf, but it's rather mellow, and I guess that's because they dry roast the curry leaf. And then into this also goes some other spices and the coconut, which I think fortifies that curry, fortifies that gravy. You know what I like about the preparations that I've tasted here? They're very home style. So I think if you were to go to Reddy Garu's house and he cooks a meal for you, this is probably the sort of dishes that you will taste. I don't really get a feeling that I'm savoring these dishes in a restaurant. I get the feeling that I'm savoring these dishes at a home, and after all, this place is called Reddy Mane Biryani. You know, I want to go to that mutton fry, but my heart says I need to taste some more of that keema fry. I love the manner in which that keema clumps together. An indication that there's plenty of good mutton fat too that is holding that keema together. Love the flavor of that fenugreek. I also love a bit of that unto, that slight stickiness that you feel on your tongue. Courtesy that coarsely ground keema and the keema fat. What's also nice is because the keema is coarsely ground, it's able to hold on to the flavors of the spices, of the ingredients that have gone into it. And that is what it conveys to your palate. Namely, the flavor of the fenugreek. That's delicious. It's been sitting on my plate for the last 10-15 minutes while I've been savoring all these dishes. But the chapati hasn't gotten kadak in the least. I want to make sure that I unburden that spoon of all that masala. Because after all, that masala has absorbed all the flavors of the ingredients that go into it, the spices that go into it, and also of the meat. In this case, the mutton. There's also some fat that's ribboned through the meat. And it's a thick sort of a gravy, the sort that comes together nicely in the scoop of your chapati. The meat is soft without being mushy. There's also some tomato in that masala that conveys you a slight tickle of its tartness. What's also nice here that the portion sizes aren't the sort that are too big, but then they're also priced in a manner that actually makes you want to try one or two of them at least.
Mutton biryani.
Ah, the mutton biryani. This is a half portion. Ah, okay, and that's
This is red chili chicken.
the red chili chicken. Thank you very much. Some refreshing buttermilk as we turn our gaze finally to the Reddy Mane Biryani. So I think this is the chicken biryani, which is slightly deeper in its color as opposed to the mutton biryani. And then we have a couple of sides to go along with it. This I'm told is the red chili chicken, and this is a chicken fry. I think we're going to make a beginning though with that chicken biryani. When you have a chicken and a mutton biryani, always begin with the chicken biryani. So this is a half portion of the biryani. So I suppose a half portion comes with one piece. So if you want to indulge in some of the other dishes, I think that also makes sense. So you get a half a portion of the biryani. You know, when I smell the biryani masala, sherwa. Thank you. Ah, Vengayam Takali. Thank you. When I smelled that chicken biryani masala, I could certainly smell the aromas of the sweet spices in that. Whether it was the nutmeg, a bit of the cinnamon, etc. And that's exactly the sort of slightly sweet flavors of the spices that this biryani leaves behind on your taste buds. And what I've also been given to understand is that the onions are braised for some time till they brown. And onion, when it tends to brown, develops a slight sweetness in its flavor, and that's also what you're tasting in that biryani. This rice is fulsome in its flavors. I haven't gone to the chicken meat yet. This is the rice by itself. Is rather satisfying. So this is made in a pulao style. So there is a bit of stickiness, there is a bit of unto that you will encounter in the rice. This is not the sort of biryani where you will find every grain of rice separate, akka. This is a sort of biryani where both the kolam, that is the bullet rice and the siraga sambar rice, come together and have a party with the spices, the onions, and all the other ingredients that go into it. Let's taste that chicken kalu, that chicken leg. You know, when you cook a pulao in this style, what typically happens is that as the chicken cooks, as the bird cooks, all the juices it imparts to the rice. So when you taste a biryani like this, you always have to taste a bit of the rice along with the meat. Because the meat by itself may seem a bit dry, and that's when you need to reintroduce it to the rice and draw from the moisture and the flavor of that biryani anna. And that's when you have a perfect bite of this chicken biryani. Before we make our way to the mutton biryani, let's also taste some of that chicken chilli. This is the red chilli chicken chilli. Plenty of garlic in that, some coriander, and needless to say, the red chilies. Sakat kara hai there. It is a red chili chicken made with a kara pudi, and the moment you place it in your mouth, that chicken conveys to you why it has been named so. And when you're tasting the red chili powder, the kara pudi, there is always a certain harshness in the manner in which it assaults your palate. And that's certainly what I'm feeling at the back of my throat. So I think this chili chicken is also the sort that probably calls for the company of some rice, just so that the sweetness in this rice that I tasted can tone down some of that fiery chili heat. And that biryani, the rice, tells that chili to behave only to a certain extent. Because once the rice is gone down, again you can taste the assault, the fiery assault of that kara pudi, of the red chili powder. You definitely need plenty of the salad. I think the Reddys like their chilies, be it in the green chilies or the red chilies. And how are you coping, Christine? You know, sometimes you're tasting food that's spicy. Your brain's telling you, stop, it's a little too spicy for you. But your heart is not quite content yet. Those are the sort of dishes that I'm tasting here. Mutton biryani next. Got a nice piece of the meat on the bone, and that mamsa is soft. Soft, and always a good sign when you see some fat ribbon through that meat. You know, this is a place that carefully selects its mamsa, selects its mutton. In that chicken biryani, I was tasting more the flavor of the spices, the sweet edge of the spices. But out here, I am tasting more the flavor of the meat. I think there's a bit of a pepper edge in that masala. But other than that, it's that smoky flavor of the meat, it's the smoky flavor of that mutton fat that has rendered into that rice. And out here, that meat is moist. Moist with all that fat. In the case of the chicken had dried out a bit and therefore you needed to introduce it back to the rice. But in the case of the mutton, well, that mutton is juicy entirely on its own. This is also the sort of meat where you need to be a little diligent and pry out every fleck from within the crevices of that bone. There's also the flavor of the tuppa that you're tasting more in this mutton biryani. And once you're done with all the meat in the biryani, well, I guess that's where that chicken fry suddenly looks a lot more appealing. There's some red chili, there's also the green chili. This chicken is a little tough, quite in contrast to that soft, melt in the mouth mutton that I just tasted. You can taste the onions in that. Although I saw the chili in that, this is perhaps the mildest dish that I've tasted here. Buttermilk certainly hits the spot with the curry leaf, the coriander, the mint. Just a sort of cooling relief that you need if you still have some of that chili heat lingering on your tongue. Well, we've tasted a bunch of dishes here, right from the chicken pakoda to the keema fry to the karivepaku chicken, the mutton fry, kaima vade, the kempu chili chicken, the chicken fry, and the biryanis. Both the chicken biryani and the mutton biryani. The dishes that really stood out for me was surprisingly that chicken pakoda, because I thought it had the perfect flavor of that masala that held on to the chicken till the very last bite. That keema fry too I found rather special, and the biryani. And surprisingly, it was first the chicken biryani that stole my heart. I see a lot of mutton dishes on the menu here, and typically in places like these, you know it's going to be all about the mutton and that's what you expect. But I was surprised by the impact that both that chicken pakoda and that chicken biryani had on my palate. And if you like your mutton biryani to be that mellow, smoky sort that brings alive the flavor of the meat and the fat, well, then that's a mutton pulao that I will recommend too. On the whole, the dishes are the sort that you would taste in someone's home. I've tasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dishes, and I'm not feeling heavy in the least. So if you happen to be around North Bengaluru and also a little away from it, definitely check out Reddy Mane Biryani here in Vidyaranyapura. And last but certainly not the least, the prices too are the sort that won't burn too much of a hole in your pocket. I hope you enjoyed this Gourmet on the Road episode here in North Bengaluru. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, happy eating and happy drinking. This is all the dishes that I tasted?
Yes.
Is my sound rolling still? Well, all the dishes that I tasted, right from the mutton kaima fry, the chapati, the karivepaku chicken, the chicken kebab, the red chili chicken, the chicken biryani half, mutton biryani half, and a chicken biryani full, and a mutton biryani full. I've run out of breath, but the bill's only $13.40. Very honestly priced. Are you guys able to make money though?
Not as of now, but on a longer run we should be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely check this place out. Cut. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As, and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. Happy eating.